Life Rhythms with Ryan Skyy. Observing the world around me, looking inward, trying to make sense of it all. Welcome to Life Rhythms radio show. I'm your host, Ryan Skyy. Life Rhythms is a radio show that revolves around my personal growth journey. As a DJ and a producer, I spend a lot of my time observing the world around me, looking inward, trying to make sense of it all. I've been doing it in song form, and now I do it on my radio show. Each episode of Life Rhythms, we feature one guest and one song, and I choose a personal growth topic around the song as a jumping off point. I'm excited for today because I've got guest Bonnie and Clyde with me, electronic duo. It's spelled Bonnie X Clyde. Daniel and Paige from Bonnie and Clyde are going to join me, and we're going to be talking about their song, Another You, which you heard a little snippet of coming into this segment. When I was thinking about a topic around Another You, looking at the lyrics, I will never find another you, I immediately thought about soulmates. I wanted to dive into the idea of soulmates because there's a lot of discussion over, is there just one soulmate in my life? Can I have multiple soulmates? What's the history of soulmates? And also, I have some questions for Bonnie and Clyde about the origins of their music project. So we're going to take a quick break, and when we get back, we're going to dive right into this topic with Bonnie and Clyde right after this on Adobe Radio. Welcome back to Life Rhythms radio show. I'm your host, Ryan Skyy. I've got my guest with me in the studio today, Bonnie and Clyde. How are you?
Great. How's it going?
We're good, thank you.
Daniel and Paige, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, yeah.
And Bonnie and Clyde, spelled Bonnie X Clyde, for those listening in.
Yeah, thank you.
So we're featuring the song Another You, which we played a little bit of coming into this segment. And I love the song. First of all, the sound design got me. And lyric-wise, when I was looking at it, specifically the lyric, never find another you, I will never find another you, I immediately thought about soulmates. And then my mind went on this, down this rabbit hole of the idea of soulmates. So the topic for today I want to talk about is finding love and a soulmate a rare occurrence that only happens once in a lifetime or not? I'd love to get your take on it.
I love that. I think that Daniel and I have different opinions. Maybe not, but so it's interesting. When I wrote this song, I actually felt that I met someone that felt like a soulmate, and it was such a shocking thing for me because up until that point, I didn't really think that soulmates existed. I believe that there are multiple people that you could get along with really well. So I never really thought there was one specific soulmate until I met somebody where all of a sudden I was like, whoa, I think soulmates maybe do exist.
You're like, reevaluate.
Yeah. But at the beginning, I think in the honeymoon phase, you can think that, this is that one person for you. But after, you've been with someone for over a year, I think you just learn all about them, their flaws. And I do believe that there are multiple soulmates for people. I think that you could make it work with all different kinds of people. I think it's just a matter of how you meet, what you connect on. And so I definitely believe that there's multiple people for you.
She definitely wrote that song about me.
Well, I have to ask you the burning question. Are you guys a couple?
No, we're not.
No, we're not.
But we were.
Did you start off?
We were for
Yeah.
6-7 years.
Okay.
And a part of the origination or the origin story of our relationship was making music together, teaching her how to produce and DJ, and creating Bonnie and Clyde happened within our first year of being together. There wasn't an exact start date like that. It was kind of just a natural progression of things. We spent a year on Skype senior year of college when she was at Virginia Tech and I was at University of Miami. Every day, 5 hours, Skype, just teach her how to make music. But actually, my motive was I don't want you to go out. I just want you to, don't want to find anybody else. Just focus on making music. And
he was also courting me.
That's so interesting.
Yeah, it was a whole thing like that.
We also went to high school together, though, and knew each other years before we started the project. And we're in the same friend group in high school. So,
we've been friends for now 16 years, but I guess we together for 6-7 years, but it was a wild roller coaster of emotions, but those emotions led to some dope art, and that is what Bonnie and Clyde music is.
Yeah, a lot of our music or I guess actually all of it, is based off of like real, authentic emotions that either we've gone through or we've experienced friends around us go through. And
Or some songs would be like she's taking a piece of what she went through in her experience, and I'm taking a different experience, but there's parallels in those experiences that we then draw from to then like motivate us to want to really finish something, because like that seed of inspiration and like being like, oh, this is coming from a real place, and finding that within both of us within one song, even if they're different seeds, is like kind of cool, and not something that we experienced too much when we were together, because we were very much, everything we experienced was together. Yeah. So it was very, and we're both Virgos. I don't know if you guys believe in that stuff, but so our emotional roller coaster with the moon and all that kind of stuff is very synced up. So when we were together, the music was very much same seed, and then now we find the different seeds that relate on parallels for our music.
And we tend to, I mean, it's interesting. A lot of our sessions, in a way, can be like therapy with each other, because we're both experiencing like different relationship different relationship journeys now, and we bring them into our sessions and like talk about it and write about it. And it's a very rare thing, I think, being working with someone that you dated. And most people, when they date somebody and break up, they potentially never see them again. But for us, it's very cool to me that we had a relationship before the romantic relationship, so we were able, and we built something that's like kind of bigger than ourselves, and we're able to like still do it in a fun way, and not even have any of our past like affect that.
Yeah, we learned a lot through that experience on what's healthy, what's not healthy, because there were periods and things that felt good, and there are parts that felt bad, and we use those lessons in relationships today and everyone we interact with. What was the original question about the
Soulmates? We went down a...
Yeah.
Well, the original question was, do you believe that soulmates... The topic is, do you believe soulmate is somebody, like a rare once-in-a-lifetime thing that happens to you, or not? Can you have multiple soulmates in your life?
I think that there are certain people that their experience with love leads to them being in a place where they're closed off, and they're less susceptible to feeling that kind of feeling because they're scared. A lot of people are afraid of getting hurt, where my philosophy on it is like, if I feel the fire, I'm going to run into it even if I burn. And like, hopefully I at least get a song out of it.
Paige is like, ooh, that's
a
lyric.
We haven't heard that one from you. We need to write that one down.
Both of us lit up like, ooh, that could be a song.
Well, I'd be writing songs. Anyway.
I'd be writing songs.
Together, we do it together.
Cool,
but the thing is that, because that feeling of being in love is ultimately the best, like better than any drug, better than anything I've ever felt in my life, that excitement about somebody. And even if I only experience that for a couple months, a couple seconds, a couple minutes, it doesn't matter. It just, that feeling is just so electric. So I'm like, let me feel that with as much as I can in my life, because I love that feeling. But I'm a lover boy, obviously.
So you believe in soulmates?
Yeah, I believe you can have many. And I believe that some people are meant to come in your lives to teach you a lesson, and some are meant to, be like, some are meant to be your muse and some are meant to be your vice. It's like the vices versus the muses, right?
Yeah.
So, and I've experienced this with people, because like Paige very much was a muse in my life and helped inspire and elevate my entire existence, and me for her, where I dated a girl after her and she was a vice, because after we broke up, I was feeling very broken. And so I attracted broken, and we were broken together. But it wasn't this thing where like, I loved her, but it was a thing where she was like the drug, her attention, her energy, her existence in my realm was just not healthy. It was a vice, right? It was easy.
Yeah.
But when the lesson I learned from our relationship was, when things don't feel right, you gotta set yourself free, because in the long run, it'll be better, right? Where with her, we were together and we spent a couple years trying to make it work, and in that experience, it hurt. It made you feel more empty. It made you feel hollow. It made you feel like, honestly, you didn't feel numb, right? Yeah. And so that when I felt that sense of numbness and not feeling like this energy that I had in my life, the relationship I had after her, I actually cut it quick, like 1 week of this feeling, 2 weeks of the feeling. and it was a wrap because I don't got time to waste because time is so finite. Our experience is so finite. Life is so finite. So I'm just like, let me get to the
Paige set the bar.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
Girls, the bar's been set.
I also, just going back to like the soulmate thing, I really believe that you can have soulmates that just aren't romantic soulmates. I think there's some
Not for me.
like my sis, like my
It's all or nothing.
At least with females, yeah.
My experience, like with my family, my parents got divorced when I was really young, like 8, and after that experience, thankfully I have one older sister, and when that whole thing was happening, she was like my rock, where we would experience everything together, and even still to this day, we've grown so close. Like we just keep getting closer every year, and like sharing our experiences, like moving to different cities together, and it's crazy that I just believe, even in and out of romantic relationships, I don't think anyone's going to be more of a soulmate to me than my sister, because we've just shared such crazy experiences together that no one else will be able to understand. And I also think animals can be soulmates. I have a super attachment to my cats, and I used to be a dog person. Now I'm a cat person.
You switched?
Yes, because I travel so much.
Yeah.
And they're
Easier.
definitely very wise animals. And I think that soulmates doesn't just have to be romance. But
how would you describe a soulmate then, if it's not romance?
I think it's all about this really deep connection that can last forever, and forever as in, our whole lifetime and beyond even. I grew up like Catholic, but like I'm by no means practicing in Catholicism, but I do believe in a higher power. And I think that, when we leave this life, we go on to, another or something bigger than where we're at now. And I think that just true connections, be it with whatever the other medium is, I think that you can find a soulmate in a lot of different ways.
I think the forever thing in my experience, is not, because there have been people that I've been so close to in this life, and then now they're a stranger. Not that I couldn't call them and say hi or whatever, that kind of thing, but where our energies were so aligned, like I could almost feel what they're feeling even if they're not with me.
Yeah.
And then you kind of like tune out, slowly create distance, and it's gone. Comes from this thing called grid consciousness. You know about this theory?
No,
so basically
tell me.
There's like, imagine 5G over the entire Earth, where it's like this web of energy that we're all tapped into. Some of us are more than less, just because some people are more sensitive, less sensitive, things like that. But when you think about somebody and you get a text message from them immediately, that's grid consciousness at work. It's you're putting this signal up to the grid. It's going across. It's hitting them, and it's reciprocating back to you. And I've experienced this theory working out in so many ways. But going back to the soulmate thing, these people, you get close, your energies are aligned.
Yeah.
You get far away, and it's temporary. And, I think we're all just constantly chasing that feeling of, being that connected to somebody.
So you believe
me?
that...
I definitely am. I'm always like looking for that next connection, or
are you more of a
good
romantic,
connection?
like a classic romantic?
I'm both, because I go through phases where
love to hear this.
Yeah. So like I love. So, but it takes a certain type of person to make me want to give them the love that I have to give. And if you don't have me there, then it's not that. It could be very animalistic in a way where it's like
just physical.
Yeah, just physical and fun and passing time. It's just like, honestly, it goes back to the vice thing.
Yeah.
It's just a vice. It's just because now me, I'm doing a year of no drugs, no alcohol, sobriety. I'm 6 months in. And I've noticed since in this experience that without these substances, like the attention of people, the company of people, like they're like a drug to me. They always were, but even that much more now, because it's my only fix, right?
Yeah.
So I notice some people are like the muses, and where I'm going in a songwriting session and I'm like, I had an experience and I want to write about it, right? Our next song for me was written about someone that I spent some time with, but for her, it's like different things or what I was pulling my energy from to write the song. And some people just pass the time, but I don't want to just pass the time. I want to thrive in the time. And yeah, so
I'm super curious.
Don't want to waste the time. And a part of me, last thing, a part of me is like, why do I waste my time with people that don't serve my future? And they don't necessarily have to serve my future in a way that's I'm with you forever. But like, if I get a song out of it, that's something that serves my future, right? So it's kind of selfish in a way, but I don't know. I just don't like wasting time. But I feel like a lot of people waste time.
I don't think it's selfish. It's serving your future. It's also about value.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, is this person injecting value into my life? Are they adding value to my life? Whether it's inspiring music or am I learning something and growing from them? And if not, if you're just passing the time, they're not inspiring music, they're not adding anything, then they're
probably not going to be around for a long time.
Yeah.
In my world.
Yeah.
I'm just curious, going back to the whole soulmate sentiment, when you were talking about people that you have this connection with, and then you guys leave. Do you consider that a soulmate? Is that what you were saying? Like those kinds of people are a soulmate to you, or what do you?
Yeah, because when I'm like, wow, the energy was so aligned, but it just doesn't and then it ends up not being.
So it is
because that moment that energy is so aligned, like where the souls are mating, I guess you could say they're together. You had that experience of being a soulmate with that person, where a lot of people perceive soulmate, my one true forever, which, I mean, that would be really amazing. And I pray I find someone that makes me want to be with them forever, and everything about them just, suits all the things that I want to see in my partner. But I expect nothing and try to be grateful for everything. So take it one person, one day, one step at a time kind of thing.
So a soulmate could be temporary in a sense.
Definitely.
Interesting.
But that experience of feeling like they're your soulmate, them being your soulmate, that love, that energy, that electricity that runs through you, that's the mating of the souls.
Wow.
In that sense.
Okay. I got you.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
When you talk about how some people are a muse and some are a vice, the muses inspire music.
Mm-hmm.
Do the vices?
Oh yeah, I would.
They can, but
for you,
it's different energy. And the song's probably going to be more of a negative oriented heartbreak song, hurt song.
Yeah.
Verse. We just wrote a song. It's going to come out next. It's called Memory, and it's, but if it's up to me, we'll be more than just a memory. Positive. It's like very strong, makes you believe in love. Doesn't make you run away from love. Because I feel like a lot of people do. Like I've talked to a bunch of girls, and they're like, as soon as I feel any type of love, I run. I'm like, why you run? Like, I'm scared. I don't want to get hurt. They get hurt once, and they don't want to feel that feeling again. And I understand that because I've been hurt, and I've hurt, not intentionally hurt, but it hurts. It hurts both ways. It doesn't feel good to hurt somebody at all, but it hurts way worse to be hurt, because it's not your choice. And I can understand why people want to run away with that feeling, especially if they don't have a creative outlet to create value on those feelings. Because that's all I rationalize when I'm like not feeling good. I'm like, well, at least I can get a song out of it. At least I can make art out of it. And yeah, thank for that. I don't know what it'd be if I was in finance. Or something.
I definitely think that whether it's a muse or a vice, at least my perspective as an artist, I find anything I can write about that, as long as it kind of moves me in some way. I think a lot of songs that I've written in the past have like low-key been about vices. I've just tried to like maybe flip it into something else.
Because they're easier. Vices are easier.
But there's even like a lot of like party songs that are like built around or written around vices. And
yeah, I agree.
And I think a lot of you can get a lot of emotion out of both. And I mean, now if you look at a lot of the songs that are like really charting these days, a lot of it is very sad. And yeah, I mean, I think maybe for at least 5 years, there's just been this sad wave of, especially with TikTok, people love to like listen to the girl with her guitar just talking about like very visual, sad moments in her life. And,
yeah.
And yeah, people connect to that because it's a sad world out there, and people want to feel connected to other people that are sharing those experiences, and like the vulnerability in that. Where I think back in the day, back in like when Rihanna was really hot, just writing jams, it was
Shine bright like a diamond.
well, it was
Positive.
a different phase of music where I don't think it was as sad. It was more just like party lyrics and
there's a place for the sad music. The last guest that we had on, I brought up how Jordan Peterson talking about the way he sees artists' place in the world and the importance of being an artist. And his main point was that he feels like artists live in half in reality and half in the metaphysical world. And that artists, we look and we look and we look and we look, and then we see, and then we put that in the art, in the music. And then when other people then consume the art, they also then see what we see. And he said it's the artists teach the world how to see. And there's a place for this. I personally don't make sad music, but I see the importance of sad music, and I understand why it resonates with people, because it helps people see. So they're going through something, right? Emotional, and they can't quite intellectualize what they're going through and process it. And then here comes this little piece of art that explains everything for them and helps them bring to conscious what they're going through. And there's a catharsis to that.
Totally.
I think it really comes down to, at least for me, what is the purpose of art? And for me, it's evoking emotion. And going on what you were saying, some people don't know how to process their feelings and even cry. Like, crying is one of these emotions that's just the most intense emotion that any human can feel. I think it's the hardest emotion, at least for men, to do. I notice a lot. Like, for me, I haven't cried since actually the day after I went sober, because I was like getting off everything, and it was just like an emotional, turbulent roller coaster, and I was randomly crying and stuff like that.
You haven't cried since then?
No, I haven't. I want to. But
come on, cry.
Yeah,
cry.
right, dude. It's so hard, man. Anyway,
it is interesting though. I do find a lot of guys don't cry.
So that song, that piece of art, can help them see it in a way that can evoke that emotion, that can get them through it. It's like therapy. It's art. That's why a lot of people listen to music to feel.
Yeah,
something. Yeah.
When you were saying what you felt is like the purpose of art, you said like evoking emotion. I definitely think that it's like an escape route. I think it's for people to like feel something, whether it's like they want to feel really good about going out to a party, they're going to throw on that party jam. Like they want to feel like someone understands their breakup, they want to play on that big breakup song. I think it's like everyone's own little therapy piece, I feel like, in one way or another, whether they're trying to feel.
Yeah. There's some songs when it comes on, I'm like, you change the song. I can't put myself in that mental place right now, please. Even if it's a good song.
I was DJing once, and I was playing, I forget what song I was playing, but I had someone come up to me and ask me to change the song because it was so triggering.
Aww.
And if you heard, my sets are like 90% really uplifting and like positive, feel good. But whatever, I don't know what I was playing. I think maybe I was playing some kind of like a remake of Missing You.
Okay.
Is it Shot It? Not Shot It. No, Everything But the Girl. And I miss you.
Yeah.
Yeah, something like that. And I think he said it reminded him, I think, of his mother or something like that. And he tipped me to change the song, and I did happily. But I thought that's really interesting.
How much was the tip?
Like $20.
One time, this is a little TV, but we were playing a club in New York, and a guy came up and he said, "Yo, I'll give you $500 right now if you play Mr. Brightside."
Yeah.
Instant. We had her boyfriend pull out I was like, "Here's my Venmo." Boom, Venmo, next song.
Oh yeah.
Amazing. Love that.
I mean, that's a crowd pleaser.
We don't normally take requests, but we probably play Mr. Brightside sometimes anyway, so it worked out.
What was the last thing that you mentioned?
I mentioned
songs triggering.
Jordan.
Oh, right.
Songs triggering, yeah.
Songs triggering. I do think that, I don't know, music is just such a special thing, because one of the coolest things I think about music is that you can hear a song at one point in your life and like hear it 10 years, 20 years later, and it'll bring you right back to that moment. And like for me, because we have such a busy lifestyle as like performing artists and like in and out of sessions, and just listening to so much music now, forget more now than ever. Like I'm like, why am I forgetting all these parts of my life? But when I hear a song, it brings me right back to that moment. And if I didn't have that song, who knows if I would have remembered that moment.
Yeah,
and I think it's
like
such a magical thing that you're able to like just hear a song that brings you back to when you're like 12 or wherever, and you're like, wow.
Or like some songs that we play in our set, then I hear it out and I'm like flashback to like 50 shows where we played this song.
That's one of the strongest things I think about music, because I mean we all like are just continuously living, and I do find that people tend to remember a lot of things in their life, whether it's or because it's such a high moment or because it's such a low moment. But and like music helps with that. We don't necessarily remember all the in-betweens.
Yeah. I kind of see music as it can have the purpose of being like a timestamp. You know, it's like you look at the timeline of your life, and these songs are like timestamps of these periods of your life or these moments. And for me, it's easy for me to then recall everything that was happening at that moment.
Yeah, you're inspiring a song out of me right now.
That's like Bonnie and Clyde.
I like the timeline idea.
Yeah, when I look at our discography and I look at the beginning versus the end every single time, I see the song like Rise Above was on our first, and like where we were living.
Yeah.
What we were making the DJ. Like the next song, okay, that song triggered Bass Jam, triggered getting on festivals, getting agent, getting a team, getting record deal, all that kind of stuff. It's like, and it's like this timeline of progression from song to song. Okay, what we were going through, the While We're Young EP. We were just.
That's also why it's so cool to, if artists are listening, but I think that's why it's really cool to keep things authentic to you, because when you're, writing from your heart and your personal experiences, you're not only able to look back on your discography and be like, wow, like this is all my memories within my music, versus, getting caught up in the machine of just writing
contrived
to, please other people, where it's people want to connect with artists.
It's like a journal.
You are, creating art from within you. And David Guetta, Tiesto, a lot of these guys that like were the forefront of electronic dance music.
We love these guys, by the way. Like huge fans.
Yeah.
Like where they are is where we're gonna be.
Oh yeah, they're our idols. I just think that it's cool that they've created this like larger than life epic platform where I'm sure they can, any like phenomenal record that comes their way, like they could be a part of it. And like to me, when I look at David Guetta, I'm like, wow, he's always going to be putting out these epic records. And that's like his story in a way. It's like he started it, he's still doing it. And I'm such a, like, it is incredible to be at that age. And like I want to do that when I'm that age. And
he has so much joy in his videos too. He just seems like such a kid.
Yeah, he's awesome. And I just think that nowadays, or like the generation that we're in, because like we came into the electronic dance scene when, things were already popping off.
Pre-TikTok though.
Huge
note.
But it's definitely cool when we came in, because it was kind of more about the story of the artist. It's not like people in our same like generation were, we didn't start the industry. Like
I feel like now it's more than that, more like that than ever. People want to connect to the person.
It's definitely going back to stories.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We got to take a quick break. We're at the end of this segment. I'm loving this conversation. We're gonna be right back with Daniel and Paige from Bonnie and Clyde. I can't wait to continue this.
Cool.
Right after this on Adobe Radio. Welcome back to Life Rhythms Radio Show. I'm your host, Ryan Skyy. I've got my guests with me today, Bonnie and Clyde, Daniel and Paige of Bonnie and Clyde.
Yeah, Daniel and Paige.
And we are...
What? No, she always gets Bonnie first. It's always Bonnie and Clyde, Bonnie and Clyde.
Someone feels salt about my name coming first.
This is your moment.
Yeah, I had
Enjoy it.
Felt good.
And we just listened to a bit of your song, Another You, which I love.
Thank you.
And when I was looking at the lyrics, I mentioned in the first segment about you set my soul on fire. I'll never find another you. Thought about soulmates, and that's what we're talking about today. The concept of soulmates has been around for a long time. It can actually be traced back to ancient Greek mythology. Oh. According to the myth, humans were originally created with 4 arms, 4 legs, and 2 heads. However, Zeus split them in half as punishment for their arrogance, and from then on, each person spent their life searching for their other half or soulmate.
Wow. I did not know that, and that is very cool.
I felt that.
Yeah.
Very cool.
The idea of soulmates, it's been present in various religious and spiritual traditions, such as Hinduism and Buddhism. In Hinduism, the concept of karmic soulmates suggests that 2 people are brought together by fate because they have a karmic debt to repay to each other. And in Buddhism, the concept of twin flames suggests that each person has a perfect match or twin soul.
Wow.
Yeah.
Very cool. I did not know that.
That makes me want to believe in it.
I know. Well, what's interesting to me is as I was researching what I wanted to talk about today with the soulmate idea, like the love. Actually, I wrote a quote. I'll read my quote. So every episode I write a quote, and this sums up what I was just about to say. So it's good timing. So the quote I wrote for today says, "The ability to fall in love evolved in humans over the course of millions of years as nature's clever way of survival. As language emerged, so too did the idea of a soulmate, dating back to ancient Greece. So if feelings of love were part of our early evolution, it makes sense that ideas around love would then emerge later on in our evolution to ensure the continuation of our species."
That is so cool.
It makes sense though, right?
Totally.
It's like before we had language, we developed emotions as a way of navigating, bonding, and procreating, all of those sorts of things. So love developed instinctually. But then as language emerged, it makes sense that then we would start to intellectualize the feelings of what's happening.
Yeah.
And that I feel like that, this is just my opinion, but I feel like intellectualizing whether or not we believe in soulmates, the idea of soulmates, the discussion of it, the search for it or the rejection of it, I feel like it all plays into us searching for it and bonding and procreating. I feel like it's all part of the evolutionary, like nature's clever way of keeping us together and moving us forward.
Yeah.
Are you in love right now?
No.
No. Have you been in love?
Yeah.
Recently?
Yeah. Recently? No, it's been a couple of years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's been no one that's come in since that made you feel any inklings towards that.
Yeah, I experienced I'm going through like I've been working on myself a lot.
Love that.
And like attracts like.
Yeah.
So I was attracting certain kinds of people into my life, but then I found that as I evolved and grew, I wanted something different. And I think it's going to be a while before I find somebody that excites me and it feels like a match. Because I honestly, like, I feel like I live my life very intentionally. And I imagine you guys do as well. Not a lot of people live their lives like this. Not a lot of people are pursuing their lives the way that we're pursuing our interests and passions and stuff.
Yeah.
And so I just kind of like accept the idea that it might be a while before I meet somebody.
If you see it as that.
I
mean, I think if you see it that way, it will be, you know? If you're
That's
like,
true.
I do.
You could be like, I could find her tonight. Every time I go places, I was like on the way to the hockey game yesterday or 2 days ago. I walked in the hockey. I'm probably gonna find my wife tonight at this game. Like everywhere.
It's good to be open like that. I try to be open.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, the moment that I felt I wasn't gonna find someone or at all, or like when we broke up, I immediately said to myself, I am not looking for anyone and I'm not gonna find someone for at least 5 years. And I was so set on that. And then out of nowhere, someone randomly came into my life and I was like hit in the head unexpectedly. Like,
she's a dope story.
Well, it was just wild. I didn't think I was gonna feel like
How did you meet
love.
this person?
I didn't feel like I was gonna feel it for a very long time, and then all of a sudden, one day at the gym, I was working out, and somebody just caught my eye, and
Oh yeah, you caught my see.
oh yeah, you caught my eye. Yeah, that's kind of where that song came from. Anyway,
No, it's about me. Chill.
but someone caught my eye, and I would say I'm a pretty outgoing person, but when it comes to I don't know, love and stuff like that, I'm not really. I wasn't thinking I was just gonna walk up to somebody, but something drew me to this person, and they had a hat on, and they were very to themselves at the gym, and also at the gym, I don't want anyone walking up to me, so I was like debating whether I should do it, but some bold moment in my mind, I was like, I gotta walk up to this person.
Did this person have headphones in? Were they listening to music?
Yeah.
Okay, so you also had to break through that barrier as well?
Well, there were like 2 moments at the gym where I was going to walk up to him and I didn't. And I walked to the front and I got a Post-it note and I wrote my name and number on it. And I said, if I happen to see him again before I leave, I'll then give it to him.
She queued up the note. I didn't know about that part.
It just so happened that before I was going to leave, I was walking away from writing the Post-it and he was walking out of the gym and I was like, I got to do it. And I gave it to him. It was very brief. I just said, "Hey, I saw you working out and wanted to give you my number." We exchanged names and exchanged numbers, and then he texted me that night, and I've been dating him ever since. That was like a year and a half ago, but it's just wild because had no idea. I didn't expect that I would feel that way, and I also didn't expect that it was really gonna like go anywhere. I kind of was like, "Oh, I just gave my number to someone." I told my sister about it, and I was like, "Can't believe I gave this person my number." And it wasn't until months after either that he asked me out on our first date because he's a pro golfer and was like touring and traveling and stuff. And and then our first date was like wild to me because we just hit it off. And it was definitely something I'd like never experienced and I didn't ever think was going to happen for me. So I think
those are the best moments.
Don't ever close yourself off. I would say because it's so important and such a positive thing to be like working on yourself. And I think we all should. It's a forever ongoing process. But like I just never recommend personally after like going through therapy and like relationships, ups and downs that you just never know what's going to happen in life.
You can't let that energy pass you by. Like when you feel it, like how she felt it with this dude and Mike, not just random dude, Mike. And she was drawn to it and she went with that feeling. And I feel like a lot of people go out at night and they see someone that's cute or that they're drawn to, but they don't decide to go up and talk to them. And then at night they're laying in their bed all alone being like, damn, that could have been the one. I know I do that.
Yeah.
And you don't want to live with regrets.
Yeah, it's that thing. And even I experienced that this weekend. Last weekend I went to some venue in Venice but we'll see where it ends up. But I saw this, I was walking into the place and I saw this one girl and I was like, wow, there's no other person.
Wow.
There's like no other person.
He doesn't experience that often.
No. No, not where I'm like, wow, like I have to. And my boy was like, that girl's your type, right? Like I didn't even say anything. Like he just knew. And when we're in the club, he's like, you're looking for our club venue, whatever. It's not like a straight club. She's like, you're looking for her. And as he's saying it to me, she's right in front of me with her friend. And I'm just like, I don't talk to her. And I'm like, if I see this girl again, I have to go and talk to her. So lo and behold, 30 minutes later, we're walking through this place and it's pretty crowded. And then we're slowly, like we're kind of stuck and she's right there. And I'm like, wow, like start talking to her. We start talking, get a number, whatever. But we'll see where that goes. Younger. Doesn't matter. The point is that I felt it and you just go with it because you never know where it could lead, even if it's just a new friend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would say I'm open now. I'm in a really good place.
That's great.
I went through a period. So when I moved to LA, I was in relationship after relationship, and I never really dated. And I found myself. I moved here about 6 years ago, and it was like the first time in my life I realized I never actually dated before. Like I never had to approach somebody, do the texting thing, ask someone out, and first dates. None of that stuff. So I just. I became like obsessed with like studying dating and like practicing it because it's a skill and like learning about it.
It's attraction. It's a game of attraction, bro. It's crazy.
Courtship, and I got good at it, right? I went through a period of time, but then I grew to the point where I was like, okay, I've learned that. I'm focusing on the career now, and then I think I overcorrected where I was like so focused on it that I was like, I need to like be focused on the career and the other stuff.
Yeah.
And now I feel pretty regulated where
Balance.
I'm like, where I'm like. I think it might be a while, but I'm totally open if it happens.
That's great. I think what you're just saying, it's super important to be open to it, but I do find that you shouldn't be looking for it. Like I think dating is great, but I find that it creates this like expectation and longing for something that I don't think you should need somebody else, right? It's like it's like you have I just watched something recently where it's like you're a cake and you are all these layers to the cake. And the person that you meet, whoever your soulmate or whatever, your partner, they're the cherry on top. You know, it's without all the layers, right? The cherry will just fall off, but you need all the layers
like
to
the
be
foundation,
right,
to support it.
Or like a table, you know, like all the legs or like everything in your life. And you know, one of the legs happens to be your partner. And, you know, if all the other legs aren't helping support that table, then, you know, that not going to be.
Also, when you're just so connected and focused on a specific outcome, maybe it's like a relationship or love or these type of things, you almost get in a place of anxiety and fear, and that energy almost pushes it further away.
Yeah.
And I think coming from a place of abundance and just gratitude and these sort of things energetically will attract more than, oh my God, is she? Because I've experienced that place and that fear and that anxiety because I thought they were it, and then the energy that I give to them isn't my actual energy. It's a place where like, I don't want to lose you, not I'm just me. And naturally you were attracted to me, but you're not necessarily as attracted to the anxious me or the not needy. It's kind of like somewhere in that realm of emotion.
Right. It touches on the attachment styles. Did you guys learn about that?
100%.
That's what I had to learn about. I didn't know. I had to learn about my attachment style, and it was pretty brutal.
Yeah.
But now I recognize the patterns. I was able to work on the patterns.
I have this interesting metaphor that I didn't hear. I just kind of came up with through my experience of dating women and being sober, because it's like a whole different thing because you're perceiving it all, feeling it all. It's like early in the relationship, or even the whole time relationship, it's like two people on a plank in the middle of the ocean, and it's like this push and this pull on the plank. But if you push too hard, they fall off the plank. But you want to push just hard enough where they're like teetering on the edge because they just want to keep coming back. You know what I'm saying? It's like this. And yeah, the initial attraction phase can be really sensitive because they don't really know you like the real you. So at any moment they could just be turned off and gone.
Yeah, you're not bonded yet.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. That's why I think it's so important.
The pre-bond plank.
Yeah. That's why I think it's so important to just focusing on yourself and like getting you to like the best version possible of you, because then when that person does come into your life, you're not like expecting it always, and like you can have hope that you want to find your person, but like I truly believe that you find your person, one, probably when you least expect it, and two, when you're just like you want to find your person when you're at like the highest of high of you, because then hopefully, they're meeting you at that same level, and you don't want to meet somebody that's like not at that same level, because then it's like, oh, are they pushing you down? You want to both be pulling each other up. It's like this continuous, like the healthiest relationships are like this continuous like love and support for each other, because you're like reaching the highest versions of yourself. And
yeah, you want to both be as complete of people as you can, and then you're just sharing your lives with each other.
Totally.
Rather than being like codependent.
Right. No, 100%.
Yeah,
believe me.
We learned that.
Yeah. Well,
how did you do to transition from dating to the you kept the music? First of all, talking about the evolution of things, it was when you were telling me about how you were dating, and that was the initial motivator of you teaching her to produce.
Keeping her around.
Yeah, the nerd in me,
her on the phone.
The nerd in me was like, "Oh, this is evolution at play." Like, I love it, right? Because that's the whole point. Is like you're not bonded yet, but the drive, the romantic drive, keeps you in it long enough that then a bond is formed, and then you're actually able to
and
move
then
into something
once
else.
we graduated college, we lived together for 4 years and traveled and created. And
I do think
Fun.
though. Yeah.
What?
Fun.
Yeah. I do think though.
I mean, it was
Interesting.
a lot of fun because we were seeing success, and we were traveling, and there was a lot of things to be excited about. But that exciting and that new existence of experience, it becomes less exciting, it becomes more normalized, right? Because at this point, we're artists, we're DJs. It's not like we're trying to make it. Not that we like made it to the level that we're going to make it, but at least we know that this is what we're doing, right? We're in the game.
Yeah, you are in the game.
Yeah.
I do think that our situation is very different from most, because in the moment that, yes, we were starting to form this romantic relationship, we were at that phase in our lives where like our main focus outside of us like becoming romantic was our passion. And like individually, we were both very passionate about music. So I think a part of our romance working out was that we were both so passionate about making music, being like getting exactly where we wanted to be in music. And with that came, like the ups and downs within our relationship, but it was all so together that it was hard for us to just be ourselves.
I think there was a period of time where we spent 2 years together, and in those 2 years, we spent a total of 48 hours
like alone.
Not with each other because she had to go somewhere.
Right. Like we were together so much that.
And it felt weird.
It's hard to have perspective that way.
Oh my God. I was like, who's Paige? Like, I was like, I don't even know who Paige is it was like, I was just Bonnie and Clyde. And we were living in the same room, making music in that room, traveling together. And it was so much was going on that I didn't even have a chance to breathe and take a step back and be like, okay, like I need space to become whoever the hell I'm going to be or who I am independently.
Did you have to take space for a period?
Yeah, she moved. She moved and
it took me, I don't really know what led to me feeling this way. I was just like, I need to have my own apartment so that I do just.
We also were making enough money where she could get her own apartment. So a lot of it was like financially motivated because we were living in Miami when we first moved in together. It was $500 a month, and we were in the hood, bro.
We were like traveling a lot.
Music video shoes, guys coming up on the porch with guns, robbing our friends, like bad.
Oh, that's nice.
South Miami,
South Miami, what
crazy.
Up? I went to University of Miami, that's why. And we had a gig every week, $500, so we were making $2,000 a month, and we were just riding it.
Yeah,
out.
all we were thinking about was making music and traveling, so it wasn't like as much as we did have a connection. I think a lot of our lives were just so fast paced in our work that it was just hard to, like when at least nowadays where I'm at, it's like when you want a relationship with somebody, the foundation of the relationship is so important, and it's about like getting to know each other, figuring out how your lives, work together, and having those important like conversations and questions for each other that like, get you on the path that you want to be for the future to like make it work out. And we never had any of that. It was just growing up together, and like, it was just interesting.
A nuance about our relationship is that the fans didn't know.
Yeah.
And so when we were out in public, we weren't very affectionate towards each other.
Mm-hmm.
And I think a part of the nature of our relationship led to, because there wasn't much affection in the streets, that kind of
in the streets. I love that phrase.
It
led to a conditioning.
It was a little situationshipy, as much as I wouldn't want to say that.
Yeah.
But it just happened that like, we were in this project together, really passionate. We saw friends that were in relationships and came out about it, and it kind of ruined their artist career. And we were like, we don't want to be that person. Like we were like, until we feel like we're getting married, we don't want to have our fans only be thinking about the fact that we're dating. And then, oh no, if we break up, it's like that's all that people care about.
Get married.
Yeah, and it was this whole thing.
I didn't want to.
Yeah, so we decided to withhold saying anything about our relationship until we ended up breaking up, and we used all those emotions.
Maybe we should have, though. That would have been a dope story.
But we used all of our emotions from our breakup.
Little EDC wedding like type of thing.
We used all the emotions for our breakup though for our first album drop, which was last November, and we were like, okay, we dated, we broke up.
Here's those emotions.
Here's all the emotions
Let's party.
from it. Yeah.
But now you're both free too, because if things are the mystery's fun, but then you also kind of like low key cock blocking each other, right? Because people don't really know if you're available.
Well,
they still don't know.
Looking back on it, I think it was a fearful decision for both of us to not be authentic to like telling everybody what was really going on. But I don't regret it, because it helped us make our first album, and it allowed for that marketing of our first album to like finally get people to be like, wow, like there have been so many people that are fans. Like most of our shows, people are like, are you dating? Are you married? Are you brother and sister? And we're like, you'll have to find out.
Also, a lot of the fans are new fans. Like a lot of the kids that were the kids going to the raves when they were 18 to 24, 2017. Now they're like the 29 to 32-year-olds that are not, ripping every weekend and have kids and like real jobs and stuff. So I also noticed that there's a lot of new energy at our shows. Like we've been at shows where like, who's their first Bonnie and Clyde show? And everybody on the floors. Yeah. So it's
but who's to
see
say? Who's to say?
Revolving wheel of fans. What's up?
Just who's to say if we had actually, came out about us dating and how much more difficult it would have been for us, like just trying to make music and make it in an industry that can be really dramatic, and like there's a lot of, cancel culture and all these things that could have gotten tied into just, we wanted our fans to focus on our music. And I think that's something that's really cool about our project, is because we withheld that information, they really did just focus on our music. And I really appreciate that like we are where we are because of our music, not because like a viral TikTok or like something that's
you want people to be following the music. If you had to choose between the music or like the TMZ stories
Right.
around the project.
So
Yeah,
it's,
New Age Fleetwood Mac. That's where we at.
New Age Fleetwood Mac.
Yeah.
That's cool.
wait,
It's
us?
Yeah.
Really? I was like,
Ooh.
I thought it was Sonny and Cher.
Right? Fleetwood.
I'm just
Fleetwood,
kidding. We never married, so
Fleetwood is like that, right?
Fleetwood Mac didn't.
I don't know the history.
Yeah.
You're talking about a couple that broke up, and
But still crush it.
yeah, Sonny and Cher. I think
Sonny and
you were
Cher.
Thinking about
Yeah.
not Fleetwood Mac.
No, it was Fleetwood, dude.
When you're, Paige, when you're, how old is Cher? Like close to 70? Can you look that up? Her boyfriend's in his 30s right
No
now.
way.
Yeah.
Wow.
They're
go
making
Cher.
music right now. They're
Of
like
course
in the
they are.
studio making music. Yeah.
It's funny. I just saw recently.
How old is she? 71? Wait, what? 76.
What?
Wow.
Wow.
How old is her boyfriend?
Oh, that is impressed, girlfriend. If she is with a 30-year-old, you go, girl.
And I have to say, wow, it's a miracle you guys got through this transition period.
Yeah.
Yeah, Fleetwood's like that.
Fleetwood's like that?
Really?
Yeah.
I never knew that.
Yeah, and they're best of friends.
No, it's definitely it's wild because
Look at that. We got that. We got I gave some shit. Girl.
The boyfriend's how old? 37.
Good
Wow.
for her.
wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I am very appreciative of the fact that we've been able to, like there was a moment, of course, like when you're breaking up with someone, you go through the emotions and the back and forth indecisiveness.
Yeah, there was
but-
like a 2-month period where we didn't really see each other.
But
Sure. I imagine it wasn't just
Yeah.
smooth and effortless.
But
Yeah.
I think that like even in our relationship, like the triumphing factor was that our music is everything to us. And this project that we built that is, and like will forever be bigger than us. Like Bonnie and Clyde will live forever. Like our music will live forever. We're
Yeah.
gonna die. And like just because, we had these weird phases of whatever, we make magic together. And I think that that's something that just outstands any relationship.
Honestly, we were at our
drama.
biggest low, like right at the beginning of COVID. And right at the beginning of COVID, we wrote this song called Love Is Killing Me. And that song definitely,
Which was
was
about our
like-
breakup.
it's called Cause Your Love Is Killing Me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you singing on that? Who's
Yeah,
singing on that?
she has
You're
me.
singing.
And that song, I think, just really was like, wow, we really can't give up on this because went #1 on dance radio and got
Yeah, and
pretty
he,
much everything that's happening, everything that was, all the momentum that we had coming out of COVID was because of that song.
yeah, that
and-
song kind of saved our career a little bit because we were like, okay, like we can't let our relationship get in the way of us making great art. And
Is a very clear sign to keep going.
yeah,
Well, we're at the end of the segment. Such a pleasure to have you two on the show.
it's been a pleasure speaking with you. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thank you.
Listeners, check out Bonnie and Clyde online. It's spelled Bonnie X Clyde, and the song Another You. Check that out. And also, you just had
Our
And
song
Need
Need
Ya
Ya.
just hit #1 US dance radio
Yeah.
and #2 on Billboard Dance. It's good.
Congratulations on that.
Thank you so
Thanks-
much.
Thanks for coming on the show.
Appreciate it.
We'll see you next time on Life Rhythms.